Hello everybody. The Common Core standards are a hot button issue right now. If you use social media, I am sure you have seen and heard the horror stories, especially from parents regarding the new standards. Even our President-elect Donald Trump on the campaign trail talked about how disastrous the Common Core standards are and how the education needed to be brought back to the state level. So what are the Common Core standards, and if they are so terrible, why are we using them? My name is Jenny Wolfe, and I'm an elementary education major, so this is an important topic for me. So today I will be discussing the importance and the benefits of Common Core, and the facts about what it actually is and what it teaches in math and English. There are a lot of benefits actually to Common Core, but I've selected two to discuss today. One of the most important ones is that the standards are far more focused. Under No Child Left Behind, they did what educators called the drill and kill. So they would really go over a lot of information and really pound it into the kids' heads just so they would do well on testing. But then after that, students would kind of forget what they had learned. So under the Common Core standards, there's a lot less information, but it's very focused. So they really spend time going over the information so it really stays in the children's long-term memory. And the most important, I think, is that it levels the playing field in education. So when you have all the states doing and teaching the same thing, if a child moves from one state to another, their education is going to continue. They're not going to be going backwards or forwards. It's a seamless transition. And it also levels the playing field in college education or college acceptance. A college won't look at one student that's from a state like Delaware, for instance, and say, well, the standards in Delaware aren't as high as California or Massachusetts, so we're going to look at those children instead. The first misconception I'd like to address is that Common Core is a curriculum and that it was created and it is also mandated by the federal government. Common Core standards were not created by the government. They are also not mandatory. They are voluntary K through 12 standards, and they were created by state officials, local leaders, and educators. They formulated and looked at the best education standards across the country, and in doing that, they made the Common Core. It is also not a curriculum. It is a set of standards and guidelines for the teachers to follow, but it really gives them a lot of freedom of what they want to teach and how they want to teach it. The standards stay the same. They just get harder as the children go up through the grade levels. Another misconception of the Common Core standards is that English will be stripped down to teaching only nonfiction. But in reality, what the standards say is that nonfiction and fiction will be taught equally. And the reason they are putting a bigger focus on nonfiction is because, as we all know, when we get to college, that is mainly what we encounter. So in order to prepare students for college and their career, they were really diving into those texts. They will still be taught all the classic literature that we all learned in high school as well. And another thing about the English standards are they really put in a lot of cross-curriculum learning. So students will be learning English when they're not even aware of it. For the informational text, they can be learning that while they are reading their social studies textbooks or their science textbooks. Another misconception about the Common Core standards is that math is complicated, confusing, and unnecessary. And I think what this really stems from is that parents are upset because when their children come home from school and sit down to do their math homework, the parents don't understand what the children are doing or why. It does seem more complicated what the children now do, but why they're doing this is children now get a very deep understanding of math. So now they use 10 frames and they rewrite problems and they use number lines. So they really get the understanding of what they're doing. In the olden days, we were all taught to use algorithms and memorization to do math. And while we still got the same answers, I don't think many of us really understood why we got those answers. And the students now are also learning a lot of practical math for college and careers. In closing, the many misconceptions surrounding Common Core has made it a very controversial subject, but in reality it really is a very beneficial system. The schoolwork that the children learning is more focused. Children everywhere, no matter what state they live in, will be considered equal in their education, and the English and math skills will really give them a deep understanding of what they're doing, so they'll be more prepared for college and a career in a global market. I hope my speech has given you enough information to help counter some of the rhetoric that we all hear on social media. And if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them on the discussion board. Thank you very much.